All right, today we're gonna clean these bearings and get all the old grease out and get some new grease in here. I made this tool right here and it fits nicely on here. And for me, I'm just gonna wind this in, get the chuck open, and I'm just gonna put in just a little bit, just so it grabs it. Turn up the chuck, and now I can still move this in and out as I need to. Basically, if I don't have this push against the bearing, the whole thing will spin, obviously. But if I turn this in a little bit, put a little bit of pressure on it, now the whole thing will spin. And I'm gonna use that as an advantage to help clean all this crud out of this bearing. And the only two things I'm gonna be using, well, three things, is a can of brake cleaner and some multi-purpose lubricant. I'm gonna just blast this in here first, let it spin a second, and then I'll clean out with this. And then I got an air compressor as well to help blow it all out. All right, that's one side. We'll loosen the chuck. We'll pull the bearing out. Flip it over and do it again on the other side because it's still on the other side. You kind of have to hit both sides to get this right. With the bearings as clean as I'm gonna possibly get them, now I'm gonna put the grease in. And for me, I'm just gonna put them back in the lathe here, just so it can hold it solid while I grease this up. Just gonna use my fingers to try and just pack this in a little bit better before I put the seal on. And now we'll turn the bearing around and do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm using my finger here to try and pack the grease in. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because it's probably just going right back on the shelf anyways, or maybe into a bike that I'm going to be building up. So it's not crucial. Take this extra and put it in the back side when we get to that part. Got the seal right here. Put that in. And it just pushes right in. And if you ever need to take these seals off, you just use a little razor blade and you can pop them out. With the grease gun, I always just push it right up against it tight to try and force the grease inside the bearing. Because you want to get it inside the bearing, not just on the outside casing. It won't really do you any good. Well, it'll work though. And the best way to remove the extra grease is just turn the lathe on. The more grease you put in these bearings, the more it's going to be stiffer to move. It's going to be really smooth, but there will be some resistance. If you put less grease in here, they will spin a little bit easier. So it's kind of like personal preference. For me, I just wanted to put a lot of grease in here, see how they'll act. They're going on some cranks to a bottom bracket for a BMX bike. And they really don't need that much grease. What I put in is a bit excessive, but it's all right. Why not?